Okay, the regular meeting of Hoylake Borough Council for May 29th now come to order.
To the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we remain standing for a second? I'd like to, how do I want to put this? I'd like to remember Raymond P. DeRocher, former Borough Council member, former Citizen Fire Company fire chief, who passed away in January and was laid to rest in the beginning of this month. I'd like to have a moment of silence. Thank you. Roll call, sorry.
Michael Belizia,
Here.
Vincent Cutterford,
Here.
Joseph Seibert,
Here.
Teresa DeAndrea, Jeffrey Miller,
Yes.
Norman Ritchie,
Here.
Paul Hadzik.
Okay, we need approval for the minutes from the regular meeting in March.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the meeting in March.
I'll second. We have a motion by Councilman Culliford, a second by Councilman Seibert. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of the treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion, we approve the treasurer's report.
Second.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Councilman Seibert, second by Councilman Culliford. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Approval of the bills. Are there any questions on any of the bills? I have one question on the 22 Dodge Police Cruiser. It says,
Which, do you have a date?
I think it was, no, I didn't write it down.
Was it,
It was for $1,200 and some dollars.
hang on. A police
Maybe
cruiser?
Brian knows what it's for. The Blaze.
Well, what is the rank? 22 is the,
That's what it's listed on in here.
Oh,
mean,
it's
I'm
on,
still looking.
it's here, it's on,
April,
this
March.
one. Won't slide. No, I just lost everything. May 16th. Oh, no, how much did you say, Norman?
I think it was $1,200 and some.
Oh, then that's not the right one.
That was the Blaze.
we don't have a Chevy police cruiser.
I don't see any other place. Oh, 1,281.44?
Yeah.
What-
Okay, that's on April 25th. It's a 22 Dodge repairs.
Blaze Alexander in Hazelton.
That should have been a warranty. Still under the extended warranty, I think.
That's the Durango.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there should have been.
Oh, was this, no, wait a minute. Were these, I think, if I remember correctly, and I may be wrong, it could be brake job.
Could have been.
Yeah, it was the brake jobs. I think that's what it was for. I can verify for it and, text you, but I'm sure that when I saw it, I kind of remember that it was a brake jobs. All four.
Okay, anybody else have any questions? Okay, we need a motion, pay the bills.
I'll make a motion, we have the approval of pay the bills.
I'll second it.
We've got a motion by Joe Seibert, second by Jeff Miller. Let's have a roll call on this.
Michael Belizia,
Approved.
Joseph Seibert,
Yes.
Jeffrey Miller,
Yes.
Vincent Cutterford,
Yes.
Norman Ritchie.
Yes. Any other items of concern? Okay, the first item of business, approve ordinance changes to Arena Park ordinance for fishing. Anybody have any questions on it? Okay, we either need a motion for or against, either way.
May I ask a question about that specifically? I don't remember what page, and I'm trying to locate it in here. There's quite a few pages, as we're well aware. But did we determine a final fee for this? Because I don't know, that was it stated in there, or did I?
It's,
I
it's
tried
in
to
the
read it.
resolution.
It's not in the ordinance.
It's not, in-
okay,
it's
alright.
in the resolution.
Okay, all right. Page 57. All right, I for some reason, my pad didn't eat, remember I called you, my pad didn't show this till yesterday.
Okay.
Like, I don't know why, but it didn't, and then when I reloaded everything, then it appeared all of a sudden, so.
Okay.
I was trying to digest all this, and I was specifically looking for the fishing, but I didn't have time to, I was trying to look at all of it at once.
Yeah, okay.
So, sorry for the question, but
No, no,
I just wanted to see if we had a
Not at
final
all.
answer for that.
always willing to clear up any questions.
Okay, we need a motion for it.
I'll make a motion to accept the fishing ordinance.
Need a second?
Joe already did. Norman.
Oh. Okay, motion's been made by Councilman Belizia, seconded by Councilman Seibert. Roll call?
Jeffrey Miller,
Yes.
Norman Ritchie,
Yes.
Joseph Seibert,
Yes.
Vincent Cutterford,
Yes.
Michael Belizia.
Yes.
Okay, next item of business, approve resolution for fishing fees.
Mike, you do have that one now, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mr. Cutterford was kind enough to show me where it was.
Anybody have any questions on that?
My only question would be is that we discussed this briefly, that this would be a fluid fee schedule and stuff through the year to see how things are panning out,
Exactly.
correct? So we can revisit this.
Yeah, that's why it's a resolution, so we
Gotcha.
can come back and do it, because like you said, it's gonna be fluid, being the first time we ever did it.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, we need a motion to approve resolution for the fishing fees.
I'll make a motion, we approve the resolution for the fishing fees.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made by Councilman Seibert, second by Councilman Cutterford. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next is the discussion on the tax abatement for the Schwab School project.
Jim, would you enlighten
I
council?
will try. If I start coughing, I'm gonna stop. It's allergies. This is not just a tax abatement for the Schwab School, it's tax abatement through the, what's called LERTA, which you would adopt. I know, again, I've seen it only by ordinance, the statute says you can do it different ways. The idea is if you have distressed or dilapidated structures within the town, you can adopt, you hold a hearing and designate a portion of the town, or all of the town, as a blighted area. And I know most people will look at that and go, wow, I designate my entire town as blighted, doesn't that really sound terrible? And the answer is, it does sound terrible unless you look at what the purpose of it is. And the purpose is to help some businesses or industries rehabilitate their properties and save taxes, usually for a period of time. Lehighton did this recently, and they haven't actually implemented it yet, but they just adopted the ordinance. Now theirs was different. Theirs was, if there are improvements, and I think in this one, you said it has to be at least $75,000 I plugged in, you can make it whatever you want. But if someone wishes to make $75,000 or $100,000 of improvements to their property, they can apply to the borough to be tax exempt on those improvements for a period of time. And the statute says you can make it up to 10 years. My understanding is the people who wish to acquire the Schwab School won't do it unless it's tax exempt for a full 5 years.
10.
So, I'm sorry, 10 years, misspoke, sorry. So you're listening. So the way I drew this is to be tax exempt for 10 years on any improvements they make. Right now, you're not getting any taxes because it's borough, so you're not losing anything. But in any case, so it's really a matter of, if you wish to do this, it's a couple step process, but the first step is, and I have a copy of the public notice we put out, you have to have a public hearing and it take input from anybody who wishes to give input. Generally, you contact the county, the school district, planning commission, county planning commission, to see if any of them wish to offer any input. And then at the conclusion of that hearing, you designate what portion or all the town has blighted. And then the next step is, after you've done that, then you move to adopt an ordinance to implement the LRTA. And now, once you've done that, then now someone wishes to be tax exempt for any improvements, they then make an application. You can have a fee schedule, because someone else pointed out, you know, it can be kind of expensive for you to be reviewing this and somewhat time consuming. You don't make it exorbitant, but there's usually going to be some fee schedule that you impose if someone wishes to be tax exempt. And they would readily accept it because it'll save a lot of money in taxes. So, having said all that, does anybody have any questions?
Now, I gave everybody a copy. You have a hard copy that I gave everybody. Didn't have time to put it in for you guys to see it, but I wanted Jim to explain it, you know, to you.
So I got a question. So you're saying about blighted, I understand it sounds like a bad word, like, does that get registered somewhere? Is it like, you know, does it affect our property values? Like when people sit there and Google, hey, good school districts or nice towns to live in Northeast PA, does it like, will we drop off some list because, you know, whether it's blighted or it's got like a black eye, like?
No, this will not. The only effect is for designating it for purposes of this ordinance, for to get tax exemption. It won't have any other effect. Now, can I tell you that there's no one here, that Ruth Eisenberg's gonna write a check, say Weatherly is now a blighted community? I can tell you the Times News didn't do it to Lehighton. I live in Lehighton. There are portions of it that are awful, and there are portions of it that are really nice,
Yeah.
like any other town. So, no, that's not gonna have that kind of effect.
Sorry, on that exact subject, are we just blighting that property, or are we talking about blighting the entire town?
Well, that's up to you.
Okay.
You are not gonna just blight that property. You'd blight a section of town. Now, you can say the north of Spring Street, or, you know, and you can
Okay.
say also Carbon Street. I mean, you can designate certain areas. That's, the idea of this, when you're starting this, is to determine what will be the blighted areas.
But
I'm just- yeah.
that only allows, so like, if say you pick, like you said, maybe Hudsondale Street or, you know, whatever, Fifth Street or something, whatever.
Mhm.
So when you're talking about these taxes and they can apply and all this kind of stuff, if someone on North Street wanted to make $100,000 of improvement on a house, they don't get that option
They wouldn't get that option.
because
And
they're
this-
not in the area of town.
Correct.
Right.
They have to be within that area, and it's not for residential. This is not intended for residential. It's
Okay.
only for businesses, commercial, industrial. The idea, again, is to generate some, and that's why you have to have a substantial sum. Someone who's gonna rebuild or put a lot of money into their building, that's where you wanna give them some incentive to do so.
So if we say made Spring Street, I'm sorry for, if we
Yeah,
say
yeah,
made
no,
Spring Street
right.
the blighted project area,
Mhm.
and hypothetically, someone bought they bought the strip mall, and they said, we wanna tear this down and rebuild the whole thing. Let's just say they did it next year, could we then make that a blighted area as well to do this? If,
We can-
in other words, if something would happen right after this, or somebody saw an opportunity, or was made aware of this, like, hey, if the foundry says, oh geez, we didn't even know that was possible, we wanna do this thing, can we revisit this again to another area?
You could amend the ordinance to do it, so in that sense, you can revisit it. Now, having
Will
said
that
that,
start their 10-year, whatever time over, or you only have one of these going at a time?
no, you can redo this. When you say, well, let's start the 10 years over, This is intended to be in for us forever. It's only 10 years for the person who's applying. So let's say we adopt this in 2024, and in 2034, someone comes in and says, I live in that area and I would apply. They can apply.
Okay,
So that doesn't, there's be nothing that stops them.
gotcha.
Does the school district have to agree with this also?
The answer is no, neither the county or the school district have to agree. However, if they don't agree, it's not gonna have much of an effect, because the bulk of the tax is a school tax.
School tax, right,
Yeah, we're on the low end.
Yeah.
School district, next county, then us. So.
yeah.
How long does this take
To do what, to adopt it?
to adopt it and then have it, so
Well,
how long until the investors say, okay, that's official now? And we can. we
3
can-
months.
Okay,
I mean, that's
Maybe
if
3
you,
months.
if you move on it quickly. So if you say, you know what, let's have that public hearing at the June meeting, we can do that. And then after that, let's consider adopting the ordinance at our July or August meeting. You could have it done by then.
what downside am I not seeing?
You're losing tax revenues. Maybe these
We're losing
people.
zero though.
Yeah, I know. Well, on this particular property, and so yes, you pick the strip mall. If the strip mall comes in and says, you know, we want to do this, what do we lose? Well, maybe they're going to do the improvements anyway, and we're losing the tax revenues for their improvements. So they put in $1 million of improvements, county comes out, reassesses them, and we would have picked up another $5,000 a year, or whatever it may be. If we gave them tax abatement, we'd lose that $5,000 for whatever period of time, up to 10 years.
Got it. But this particular project, there's no downside.
There's no downside to this property, yeah, because we own it, and so we're not getting, as a matter of fact, well, it's a loser, we all know that. So,
Right,
Is it always 10 years for everybody, or is it
It's,
vary?
okay, the maximum that you can do this for is 10 years under the statute.
Okay.
But it doesn't have to be 10 years full tax abatement, it can be 100% the first year, 90%, 80%, you know, and gradually you come in and they
So
start
if we
paying more
grant
tax.
them 100, but then, like you said, somebody wants to rebuild the plaza, we go, oh, you know.
Well, that's why I'm looking, going, if you wanted to do it a different way, I have to look and say, maybe we can do it a different way in different regions, I'm not sure. I've never seen that, but again, this is, yeah, so we
Yeah.
could look to see if we can do that.
Anybody else have any questions?
So at this point, we're gonna pretty much limit it to the school area?
no,
No?
you
That's up
didn't
to
say
that's
that
up
yet, that's up to
Borough
you.
Council.
That's
What
up-
what I'm saying, Joe, is if you say, you, general counsel says, you know, I'm interested, let's give it a shot, I'm gonna say, good, then the next step is that, let's have a public hearing. And we can make it at our June meeting if you wish to. And at that point, you can decide, you may think ahead of time, you know, this is stupid, I'm not gonna do it. Or you might say, you know what, I'm not gonna make the whole town, let's just make that area. Or let's make it that area plus Carbon Street, or whatever else you wanna do.
Now, the thing is, and the reasons it's being brought up now is that the Alliance for Building Communities has their application in to the PHFA. And this is gonna definitely help getting that through, you know, and that's what they're looking for all three, because then it turns around to the investor that it's something profitable for them, you know what I mean, to make them more interested in the building. So that's why we're bringing it up. On the 5th, I go to the school district and go over the thing with them, you know, show, they don't know about the building, so I'm gonna go up, show them the building and go over the things. They'll have their own attorney there, you know, to review it with them. And then I have to go down to the county commissioners and show them what the building's gonna look like and what, you know, the plan is, so.
I have a two-part thing, but even though we give them the tax abatement and, let's say for 10 years, they get this thing approved, which will help, if it helps them get approval and get them started faster,
Right,
we'll still have all the revenue from meters, water,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
We just don't have the tax money
Which is
coming in. We
instantly
didn't have
tax
it
abatement.
anyway.
right.
And then my other question was, and it slipped right out of my head. So I'll circle back, it'll come back to me.
I have one more question as well, and I don't know if anybody has an answer to this. If we've been provided plans and some sort of a cost forecast, has anybody ever looked at what the tax implications might be once this project is completed? Do we even have a round number?
We haven't come up with, I think we were looking around, what, 2 million? We
You mean
were
the
throwing
the
a number
assessment,
around,
you mean?
yeah, the assessment.
Yeah, I said it's not 2 million in taxes, that'd be.
No, no, 2 million in assessment.
Yeah, like, yeah, start right now, 2
Right.
million, I tell
Yeah, you could probably put something together, but I wouldn't.
I'm just
count on it.
curious if it
Well-
was, if somebody'd say, you know, we might be looking at, you know, that the town might benefit 10,000 a year if this is like, I didn't know if that was a figure that somebody had to look at.
It is, and it's actually something that they look at. And the way they look at it is they look at it as the value of each unit. So like, they had said to me, well, what did you price the units at when you came up with the total? When I, you know, and I said around 25,000 to 35,000, and they said, oh, okay. So that's
Times
what they
30.
were, huh?
Times 30.
Yeah. So that's how they were saying
So it's
it.
not gonna be $600 a month is what the school, the tax
Right,
revenue is not gonna be
right.
$600. It's
Exactly.
gonna be a substantial figure.
Now, if this changes hands in 10 years, we don't have to give them another abatement if a new company asks for it.
No,
No, that's it,
that's a separate one.
right.
That was my other question, how much of effect is it gonna have on it, let's say, and I know, like I said, nobody's getting anything from it, but the school doesn't go on board, the county doesn't go on board, like what?
That I couldn't tell you
Well,
because.
we can't make them do it.
We
No.
can't make them do it. My guess is if they don't do it, the project won't go forward.
Right. They're looking for an all-around, an abatement from all tax and amenities, so.
They're basically in the same boat we are. They're not
They're
getting
not
any
getting anything
taxes.
now. No.
Exactly. And for us to say we're not gonna do it, the project isn't gonna go through on our end, and
Yeah.
you're gonna wind up spending hundreds of thousands of dollars eventually to tear it down.
Right, no, and
So,
that's what maybe we lead by example by doing it.
Right.
But you said you were gonna go and talk to them? Or
yeah.
explain to the county and all that?
Well, I have to see, they have no idea. Nobody explained, like, showing them the plans and saying, this is what's gonna happen. This is what, you know, they're looking at as far as, you know, apartments and the way the parking and everything is gonna be laid out, and that they're gonna redo the whole building. So, they have no clue. They haven't seen the plans, neither has the school district. So I have appointments with the school district to go up, but I haven't set up with the commissioners yet,
Okay.
which I will be doing hopefully next week. I have the school district next week, so I want to get in with the commissioners next week.
Harold, the minute this starts effect, if, you know, once they pass this, they start doing the work and everything, that's the end of us having insurance and everything on that, right?
Right.
Then we don't
Yeah.
have to worry about
Wouldn't be ours
spending that
anymore,
money.
right?
It's not ours anymore.
Yeah.
Do you need a motion to proceed with this?
You need a-
Or,
Go ahead.
I would say you would need a motion to advertise and hold a public hearing, and whether it's whatever the date in
Do it at
June,
the
whatever your
next-
June meeting is.
Yeah,
If
the
you want
June
to-
meeting.
Can you make it July meeting if you want? but I'm
No,
saying-
no,
Okay,
no.
I'm just, okay,
I'm saying I have to move quickly on this because the application's in there.
okay. When's the June meeting, Harold? Lori, when's the June meeting?
I have to look at the calendar.
Last
The June meeting is the 24th. That's the fourth Monday
At 5 o'clock.
at
Yep.
5 o'clock.
Okay. So, yes, you need a motion to advertise a public hearing, just advertise a public hearing for June 24.
All right, I'll make a motion that we advertise for the public hearing on the 24th of June at 5 PM.
I'll second.
okay, we have a motion by Councilman Seibert, second by Councilman Lizia. Roll call?
Joseph Seibert,
Yes.
Vincent Cutterford,
Yes.
Michael Belizia,
Yes.
Norman Ritchie,
Yes.
Jeffrey Miller.
Yes.
Okay, next thing is resolution for DCED for trail feasibility study for connection to Hazelton Trail.
Now, as you all read the narrative, how this came about, and how pretty much DCNR turned to us and said, you know, you guys, can you write it for them? So it's no big deal. We're just about finished, and actually it's due tomorrow, right? Or the 31st. And thing is, it's a 15% match. We already told them, you write the commitment letter, you're paying the match, because you want to connect to us. I'm not, you know, my concern is moving south, not, you know, them coming north, you know, to us. So, you know, they were all agreed with that. They sent us a commitment letter that will go in with the grant application. And we had gotten the prices from engineering firms for the feasibility study. So that's what predicated the 15%. So that'll go in. Chances are, pretty good chance that we'll get it. And then we're pretty much at that point, I mean, we'll be monitoring it, but we're gonna turn it over to them to work with the engineers and work out their trail. Then from that point, they're gonna do their own grant writing to get here. But what they didn't understand, I guess, is that they had to do a feasibility study first before they could say, oh, we wanna connect to you and we wanna go this way and this way. Well, it doesn't work that way. You have to do a feasibility study first. So they, as, I don't know if you guys know, but in the beginning when they were starting out, they had a pretty strong group, you know, pulling their thing together. And they wanted to tie into Eckley, Viner's Village, but they were stopped by property owners. H&K didn't want them crossing their properties. So they were pretty much, right now, all they are is kind of like a half a loop, you know? It doesn't go anywhere, so they're looking to tie to us. They had tried to go to the Lehigh River, to the trail, and they got stopped by a habitat of a flying squirrel or something. So they couldn't make their connection to the gorge. So they're looking to, you know, to come through us. So that's what this is all about. But there's a resolution tied in with this, and since the representative from DCNR and from Senator Argle's office said, you know, how many people are in your group right now? They said, well, there's like 2 of us part-time, and we're gonna pull together once we get started. They recommended that, you know, we do this to get them moving.
Would it cost us nothing, other than your
Just time. Yeah, right, I'm not putting any money into this other than our time.
And
it was-
just because the feasibility study, it's just a study, no granting access or doing it, just to
All
see
it
if it's possible.
is the engineers will look at it and they'll try to find the best path to get to us. And then they have to deal with the landowners for easements and everything else. You know, that's on them. So it's actually the first step in them, you know, changing their trail.
Had a lot of great trails that could have came down.
Pardon?
There was a lot of great trails that could have came down.
Yeah, well, that's the only way you can start this.
So that would make us just a stop on the trail and not actual head of the trail, right?
Well, yeah, if they connect to us,
Yeah.
but what you're looking at is maybe people will just get this far and say, well, I don't really want to go up that. There's nothing there. You know what I mean? Especially where you come out in Hazelton. So
Well, people might want to come down.
people will want to come down because they can head to, you know, the gorge, you know, or come to some place like here that we're going to have businesses and you have the park and everything else. So,
Definitely good for the town.
you know, one way or another.
Okay, we'll need a motion then.
So we need a motion to accept the resolution or to
Yes.
pursue, is that what we're asking? I'll make the motion to accept the resolution.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion's been made by Mike, second by Jeff. Roll call?
Vincent Cutterford,
Yes.
Michael Blizia,
Yes.
Norman Ritchie,
Yes.
Jeffrey Miller,
Yep.
and Joseph Seibert.
Yes.
Okay, the last thing is discussion on authorizing manager to bid DCNR project and open bids and award at a special council meeting.
Now, the DCNR project that I'm talking about is the park project. And we're getting to the point that we're just waiting on approval on a few things from DCNR. As I may have told some of you, generally, in a regular grant process, we would have our bid documents ready, we would go out to bid, we wouldn't have to have approval from DCNR because they have federal funding, they are following all the steps through the federal funding parameters. So we're waiting for them to come back to us, but what it is that if we go out to bid and we say, okay, we're gonna open bids on, say, June 6th, well, then I have to wait until the 24th for you guys to approve, the bids, to award them. I just wanna have that, we open the bids on the bid opening date, that we have a special meeting, that you can approve it, and we can get rolling. I don't miss weeks or a month or whatever, just to make this thing grow faster, because as we're in now, we're gonna be in June. So till you go through the bid process, I'll probably lose another month. I don't wanna lose weeks or whatever. I wanna get the contractor going on the project while we still have building time and weather, That's the reason, we're asking, we just do a special meeting, and only 4 of you have to show up. It's gonna be low bidder,
So you just don't, you tell us there's gonna be a meeting, whoever shows, as long as
Yeah.
you're for it.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
again, if everybody wants to show, fine, but if you can't, you're picking the low bidder,
You tell them 4, only 3 will show up.
And you can still call in on a special meeting, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, what we're gonna do is we'll go through and we'll read off the bids, just like you do it,
Yeah.
and you will approve the lowest bidder. That's it.
Now, you can't just call it, you need a majority quorum here.
Yeah, you need a quorum, you need
Yeah,
4.
you can call in, if you have 4 here, others can call in, but
Right.
otherwise you actually need 4 here.
You need 4 physical,
Yes.
Yes.
okay.
Any other questions? Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to authorize the manager to have the bids and special council approval.
Second.
Okay, got a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, I guess we need a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion, we go into executive.
You second?
I'll second it.
Okay, got a first and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're going into executive session.
second.
Motion's been made by Councilman
We weren't even
Gunner Fern, second by Councilman Seibert. All those in favor say aye.
Can I do your job tonight?
Need a motion, yeah, need a motion for
Can I
adjournment?
make a motion for adjournment?
I'll second. The two guys to my left here.
Great job, Norman.
Thank you, gentlemen.